welcome to the Deep Dive. We're digging into the early progressive movement today,
That's right.
specifically looking at how they try to fix things up in state and local governments. You've been exploring this as part of the Reforming America unit, right?
Yeah, Goal 3 focuses right on this. It's about understanding how they tackled problems at that level.
Okay, so our mission today is basically to unpack the key goals, the methods they used, and just make it all clear and simple.
Sounds good. There's a lot there. The problems they saw, the changes they pushed for. We want to give a clear picture of how they aimed to make government, work better for regular people.
Perfect. So let's start with the big picture then. The progressive movement itself. What are we talking about, and what are the main issues driving it?
We're mostly looking at the late 19th and early 20th centuries, late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
And think about what was happening, rapid industrialization, cities booming, but that growth brought huge problems.
Like what kind of problem?
Well, terrible conditions in factories, for one. Lots of poverty, especially in the cities. And significant political corruption was a major issue, too. The progressives were really reacting to all that.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't just like one thing. It was a mix of social, political, and economic issues all tied together by this big shift in the country.
Exactly. They saw it all as connected, and they felt government, particularly state and local government, needed to step up and address these things.
So the core goal was efficiency, transparency.
Yeah, making government more efficient, more open, and crucially, more responsive to what ordinary people needed, not just, the powerful or wealthy interests. Reducing corruption was huge.
Got it. Let's talk about some of the people involved then. Florence Kelley, her name comes up a lot. What was her focus?
Florence Kelley was a key social reformer. She was incredibly focused on labor conditions,
Okay.
especially the exploitation of women and children working in factories, sweatshops, just terrible situations. She's a major advocate for laws to protect them.
So she wasn't just talking about it. She was actively pushing for legal changes.
Oh, absolutely. Her work, her advocacy, it was relentless. She was instrumental in getting state and local governments to pass child labor laws to set fair work standards.
That sounds like a big shift.
It really was. It helped establish this idea that the government actually had a role, a duty, to protect workers and improve social welfare. It broadened the whole concept of what government should do.
Interesting. Now, another movement around this time was temperance, trying to limit or ban alcohol. How does that fit in with progressive ideas?
Well, many progressives saw alcohol as a root cause of a lot of social problems.
Like poverty, domestic violence.
Exactly those things. They linked it to crime, family breakdown. So for them, tackling alcohol consumption was a way to improve society, improve people's lives directly. It shows that moral reform aspect of the era, too.
And they actually made headway with that, didn't they? At least locally.
They did. The temperance movement gained a lot of ground at state and local levels first. Lots of counties and states passed laws restricting alcohol, which, of course, eventually led to national prohibition.
Right. Okay. Another huge name. Jane Addams. What was her major contribution?
Jane Addams was a real pioneer in social work. She's best known for founding settlement houses. Hull House in Chicago is the famous one.
Settlement houses.
Yeah.
What exactly were they? Like community centers?
Pretty much, yeah. Set up right in the middle of poor urban neighborhoods, often where lots of immigrants lived.
And what do they offer?
Oh, a whole range of things. Education classes, English lessons for immigrants, job training, childcare so mothers could work, healthcare, social clubs, just vital community support. Hull House became a model.
So very hands-on, direct help at the neighborhood level.
Exactly. And the impact was huge, not just helping individuals, but also showing a new way to approach social welfare. It put pressure on local governments to take poverty and public health more seriously.
Makes sense.
Adams and others used their experiences there to advocate for better city services, too, like sanitation, clean water, things like that.
It seems like a big part of the movement was just making people aware of these problems.
Yeah.
Is that where muckrakers come in?
Spot on. Muckrakers were journalists, investigative reporters, really. Their whole job was to dig up and expose the dirt.
The dirt being.
Corruption in city governments, state legislatures, ruthless practices by big corporations, unsafe products, anything hidden that hurt the public.
And the goal was just to get it out there.
Yeah, raise public awareness, generate outrage, and hopefully shame or pressure politicians and business leaders into making reforms.
Can you give a famous example?
Oh, absolutely. Upton Sinclair's novel, The Jungle, published in 1906.
The Jungle. I know that one. Wasn't it about the meatpacking industry? And pretty gruesome.
Extremely. It described the horrible, unsanitary conditions in Chicago's meatpacking plants. Sinclair actually wanted to highlight the awful lives of the immigrant workers there.
But people focused on the food?
Exactly. The descriptions of diseased meat, rats, filth,
Ah.
it absolutely horrified the public about what they were eating. It's kind of funny. He aimed for the public's heart and hit its stomach, as he put it.
Huh. And that public reaction actually led to real change, right?
Yeah.
Government action.
Big time. The outcry was so intense, it forced Congress to act. This led directly to things like the Pure Food and Drug Act and the Meat Inspection Act that same year. Federal oversight of food safety, basically, shows the power of exposure.
Wow. So journalism was a major engine for reform. Okay, shifting gears a bit to the purely political reforms. Robert La Follette, he's a big name in Wisconsin.
Yes, fighting Bob La Follette. He was governor of Wisconsin and really turned the state into a laboratory for progressive ideas.
The Wisconsin idea, right? What was that about?
It was a whole package of reforms designed to make state government cleaner, more efficient, and more accountable to the people, taking power away from political machines and special interests. He actually brought in university experts to help design policies.
Smart. What kind of specific reforms did he push?
Key things included the direct primary election, letting voters choose party candidates, not just party bosses.
Okay, that's big.
Also, fairer taxes, regulating railroads and other utilities to stop them gouging customers, conservation efforts, a whole range.
And did these ideas spread beyond Wisconsin?
Oh, definitely. The Wisconsin idea became a model. Other states looked at what La Follette was doing and adopted similar reforms. He showed it could be done.
All right, let's dive into some of those specific government mechanics they changed. The secret ballot seems obvious now, but it wasn't always standard.
Not at all. Before the secret ballot, voting was often public. Your boss, or the local party boss, could literally watch you vote, or use colored ballots to know how you voted.
Wow. So lots of pressure, intimidation.
Exactly. Bribery, too. It made genuine choice difficult. The secret ballot, where you vote privately, was a huge step towards stopping that coercion and making elections fairer. Less corruption.
Okay, makes sense. Then we have these three terms: initiative, referendum, and recall. They sound like ways to give voters more direct power. Let's start with the initiative.
Right. The initiative allows citizens themselves to propose a new law.
Wow.
They gather a required number of signatures on a petition, and if they get enough, that proposed law goes directly onto the ballot for all voters to approve or reject. It bypasses the legislature entirely.
So if the politicians won't pass a law the public wants.
The public can try and pass it themselves. It's a tool for direct democracy.
Okay. And the referendum. How's that different?
The referendum works kind of the other way around. It lets voters approve or reject a law already passed by the legislature.
Ah, I see.
So the legislature passes a bill, but maybe it's controversial or maybe enough citizens petition, and then it goes to the public for a final yes or no vote. It's like a public check on the legislature.
A check or even a veto power for the people.
That's a good way to put it. Keeps the legislature accountable.
And the last one, recall. What's that for?
Recall allows voters to remove an elected official from office before their term is up.
How does that work? Another petition.
Yep. Gather enough signatures demanding a recall election, and then the voters decide. Keep the official or kick them out and possibly elect someone else.
So it's about accountability during their term, not just waiting for the next election.
Precisely. It was aimed at getting rid of corrupt or ineffective officials who weren't serving the public interest. Another tool to make officials responsive.
Okay, one more major change, the 17th Amendment. That changed how U.S. senators were chosen, right?
It did. Before the 17th Amendment, ratified in 1913, U.S. senators were chosen by the state legislatures.
Not by the people directly.
No. And progressives argued this led to senators being picked through backroom deals, bribery, beholden to corporate interests that influenced the state lawmakers, not really representing the people.
So the amendment changed it too.
Direct election of senators by the voters of each state, just like how we elect representatives. It was seen as a major step towards making the Senate more democratic and accountable to the public. Less chance for corruption at the state legislature level to dictate who went to Washington.
It really feels like all these reforms, from Kelly's labor laws to the 17th Amendment, were pulling in the same direction.
Absolutely. It was a multi-pronged effort, tackling social injustice, cleaning up politics, giving citizens more direct power, all aimed at making government, especially at the state and local level, work better for everyone.
So if we were to sum it all up, the main ways the early progressive movement reformed state and local government were.
Well, fundamentally, they pushed for greater democracy and responsiveness. They did this by boosting citizen power through things like the initiative, referendum recall.
Right.
They fought corruption with tools like the secret ballot and the direct election of senators.
Hmm.
And they used government power to tackle social problems, like fair labor laws, public health, the kind of work Jane Addams and Florence Kelley championed.
It's pretty remarkable how much of that framework is still with us.
It really is. They laid a lot of the groundwork for how we think about the role of government and the power of citizens today. A lasting legacy.
Definitely. Okay, for everyone listening, to help lock this in, here are a few questions to think about.
Good idea.
First, what was the main goal the progressives had when they looked at reforming state and local government?
Second, can you name two key progressive figures we talked about and explain what they did specifically for state or local reform?
Third, what was the secret ballot all about? Why was it needed? And how did it aim to fix elections?
Fourth, those tools, initiative, referendum, and recall, what are they and how did they try to give citizens more clout in government?
Fifth, how did those journalists, the muckrakers, help the progressive cause? What was their role?
Sixth, thinking about Jane Addams and Hull House, what impact did settlement houses have on cities and on ideas about government's responsibilities?
And finally, number 7, how did that 17th Amendment change senator elections? And how did that fit the overall progressive goal?
Mulling over those should really help solidify the key takeaways from this period of reform.
Excellent. Well, thanks for this deep dive today. Really helpful stuff.
My pleasure.
And thanks to everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.